In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how the end of 2023 ended up for the Fraser Valley real estate market, and I'll also talk about where I think the market's headed for 2024. Before I dive into this material, if you guys could hit that like and subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to book a call with me to talk about the buying process, selling process, or just the real estate market in general, you can do so by clicking the link below. It'll take you to my calendar where you can book a 30-minute call with me. Looking at the number of sales year over year, we can see that sales were down almost 5%, and the number of new listings were also down 9.4%. So that just tells us that overall consumer confidence over this past year wasn't at its greatest. And of course, that's to be expected with the rising interest rates that we saw the previous year in 2022, and a couple rate hikes as well in 2023. I think a lot of people were sitting on the sidelines waiting to see if rates were going to continue to go up. Obviously, affordability and the cost of living right now is a major concern for a lot of people. When we look at the Fraser Valley market for all asset classes, we can see that the number of sales peaked in March 2022, and that was in really the height of the market. And then since then, they've been on a downward trend. And we did have some sale increases in the summer months, so June was the highest, and since then it's been tapering off. When I go to the benchmark prices for all asset classes, we can see that the detached market has come down the most. So January 2022, it was 1.642 for a house in the Fraser Valley. Today, it's just sitting under the 1.5 mark. The condo and the townhome price points has not really changed in 1 year's time. So we can see condos were $533,000 and townhomes were $845,000. Comparing those to today, condos $545,000 and townhomes $837,000. And the townhome market was really hot this past year. It's still in a seller's market, and I think that's going to be expected continuing into 2024. Condos are also really in demand right now, and again, that goes back to affordability. We can look at the sales to active ratio, so we can see detached are sitting at 16%. November, the detached market was at 11%, so that is a buyer's market, and then last month, they jumped up to 16%. Any ratio below 12% is a buyer's market, and anything between 12 to 20 is in a balanced market. So we can see that detached are pretty much in a buyer's market, but technically still a balanced market. It'll be interesting to see what happens with rates going forward. I think a lot of people are having trouble getting into the detached market because, as you guys saw, it's around $1.5 million for a detached home in the Fraser Valley. Now, what I've noticed is houses that have suites tend to go quick. And again, that's because you're getting a mortgage helper. And in some cases, depending on how high the strata fee is for a townhome, on a month-to-month basis, sometimes a home with a suite is better off than a townhome with a higher strata fee payment. Condos and townhomes are sitting at 30%, so that is a seller's market. I hope that new listings start to increase because they are down 9.4% year over year. And with buyer demand expected to rise with the rates lowering, we're going to need supply to fuel that demand. If we look at active listings in the valley, we can see they really dropped off in the fall. And I mean, that's normal too, because not a lot of people want to list their property in December, being the holidays and whatnot. However, we still need more listings. Like, that's not a lot for the entire Fraser Valley. What I've noticed in the last couple weeks is usually December is a very quiet month. And I've had 3 people that want home evaluations in the coming week. And I've also started working with 2 new buyers, both looking at condos in the Langley area. The word about rates coming down over the next year has started to come out in the media, and I think a lot of people are trying to get ahead of that, because as soon as rates start to come down or even continue to hold, we're going to see the buyers that have been waiting on the sidelines come in and start to want to purchase their property. I wanted to talk to you guys about the Canadian population. So in 2023, 1.25 million new people came to Canada to immigrate, with the majority of those people settling in Alberta. And that's why we've seen the Alberta market really boom, specifically in Calgary. That being said, at the same time, new housing has slowed down, specifically single family houses. So with fewer new houses being built and more people immigrating to Canada, this could suggest that housing prices remain strong over the next few years. I found an interesting article done by Economist. As we can see, November projections were that the Bank of Canada was going to hold rates until April, but continue to go down to 4.25% for the overnight lending rate. People, again, in December felt that the rate was going to go down to 3.75. so even further than they did in November. One thing is very clear is that everyone seems to think that the interest rates are going to come down. And I am on board with that because when people go to renew that bought in the peak of the market at 1.5 to 2%, they are going to be in a lot of financial stress renewing at today's rates that they are now. So they definitely do need to come down. Obviously, we don't know by how much, but I'm thinking about 100 basis points at least throughout the duration of 2024. The first rate announcement will be made January 24th. They'll have 8 meetings throughout the year as they do every year. I think that we're going to see the first rate announcement here. And the reason being is because if they drop rates in April, it might be too big of a catalyst because the spring months are when we see the busiest times. So because there's more buyers out in the spring market, if they do drop rates, it might create a little bit too much demand. And that's why I think that they're going to wait till the summer, because generally the summer is a slower time. And I think it's going to end up around 4% at the closing of this year. However, I do not know because I'm not an economist. That's just what I think. Talking to financial advisors, mortgage brokers, and economists myself over the last couple months. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for my predictions for 2024 video, which should be coming out in a couple days. If you guys have any specific questions about the real estate market or anything I discussed and want to chat about it in more detail, again, just a reminder, there's a link below where you can book a 30-minute call with me. If you are finding my information to be helpful, I would appreciate if you guys click the like and subscribe button to help me get my message out to more people like you that want to be kept up to date with the Fraser Valley real estate market. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you soon.